Hello, this is Pamela with Pamela's Portrayals, and today we're going to paint a trio of birds on this 12 by 16 inch canvas. I'm going to start by painting the background. Some of this paint, this is a plate that I've used before. The paint has dried. This is acrylic paint. Once it's dry, it's solid. So I'm just using this color, and this color, and this color. But I'm reusing my plate just so I have a limited amount here at home, and so I'm going to go ahead and just use what I've got. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to get a little water on my brush, and I'm going to get some of this kind of gold color. And I'm going to kind of just start here somewhere in the middle. Get a little bit more water. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking that's really too dark. So when you're doing something and you think that's too dark, add a little white. So I'm going to add a little white to that. And I'm going to just kind of lighten it up. I've mixed some dark in there, but I want some movement in my background, so it's not going to be like a solid color. I've got some darker shades in there and some lighter. So I'm going to now come in and get some of this green color. I'm going to mix that with the white. And we're going to kind of come in down here, add a little bit more water. And I'm using a flat brush. Now I still have some of this color on it, but that's okay. It's just going to mix in together. And like I said, I want some movement in my background. Now, you don't have to have that. You can just do a solid background if you'd like. Get a little bit more of my green, put that down here. Since I've got that other color in it, it's mixing in with it. I'm going to get a little bit more white and add to my green. It's hard for me to reach the bottom here, so I'm going to just hold that up. Still got some of that kind of gold color on it. Get some more paint, some more of the green with white. And I'm going to come right out here to the edge. And you do want to go around and go ahead and paint the side. You can do that like this. Let me get some more paint on there. So see, you can just go along and paint the edge there. Just make sure that when you're coming around to the front that you haven't messed up this edge up here in the front. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do some more. I'm going to get a little bit of the blue. Now, I have not cleaned my brush. Just some of those colors might still be on there. That's okay. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to put some of the blue up here. And I've mixed that with white. The colors that I am using Liquitex, and I'm using the green gray, the blue gray, and I'm using bronze yellow, although you could use yellow oxide. I just happen to have the bronze yellow here, and so decided to use it. Now when you go in to mix this blue with this gold color, it's going to blend. If this is still wet, it's going to blend and make a green. So you can see a little bit, a different shade there. Get a little bit more water. Well, this is a pretty solid color in the middle, so I'm going to come back over it. It's dry. I'm going to come back over it with a little bit of lighter color. And then I'm going to come back, get some more of my blue with the white. I'll come over here. You can see I'm just I kind of want, like I said, I want some movement in the background. I don't want this to be solid. but you are certainly welcome to make yours solid. That would be easier. But when you're making it solid, it doesn't have to all be the same shade. If you have some lighter or darker hues, that's perfectly acceptable. I'm going to come up here in the corner. Kind of fill that in. And again, you do want to go around and do your sides. So you can get some of this up here. And I'll finish that up a little bit. I want to get this done in the front. And I'll pull some more blue in here. Add some more white to it. This is kind of real light over here. I don't have a lot of paint on this corner, and I don't want to be able to see my canvas, so I'm just adding some more paint with some white in it. If you're having trouble covering your canvas, white mixed with whatever color will make your color more opaque, and you won't be able to see your canvas as much. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to get some more of the green. And I'm going to come right in here. And I'm going to add some more green. I added some white to it. Get some more water. And some more of that paint. Maybe a little bit more green. Put some more green down here toward the bottom. Again, I have not cleaned my brush, not once. And that's okay. So if you get a little bit of other colors in there, that's okay. As a matter of fact, I just picked up a little bit of blue, and I just put that down in there, but you can barely tell that's there. Okay. This little spot here that I'm working on, I got a little bit of white paint on there earlier, and it dried, so I don't want to see that. I'm just going to cover that up. I'm going to come up here. Still got this area up here. I'm going to, again, not cleaning my brush, get a little bit more of the blue paint mixed with white. And I'm going to come up here and start filling that in. And I might get just a touch of green and put just a little bit of green right there, just so it's not divided into even sections. You know, I don't have just all green down here and all blue up there. But I don't want a lot of green up here. Put just a little touch of that. Come back and get some of my blue and white. Oops. And a little bit more to fill that in up here in the corner. I'm not pressing real hard. Okay, now we're getting to the area where we're going to kind of start mixing the blue and the green. So I'm going to start with some blue right here. And I'm going to pull it down a little bit right there. And then I'm going to come back. Again, I've not cleaned my brush. Come back and get some green. And I'll pull the green right there. And maybe just a little bit up here. Now I've got my kind of gold color in the middle. I'm going to soften it up a little bit more. So I'm going to take some white and go back into my my gold color. Still have not cleaned my brush. And I'm just going to kind of lighten that up just a little bit, some parts of it. And blend that out into my other colors. Okay, and I think that looks pretty good. Just looking to see if I needed, I'm going to add a little bit more color here. When I tilt that forward, I can see that some of my canvas is showing through. So I don't want that. I'm going to come back, add a little water there, and just kind of fill that in a little better. Sometimes it's hard to see if you've got canvas showing through, and you might need to tilt your painting forward just to get a different light on it to see what's showing. You know, if you can see your canvas or not. So a couple other areas I saw. Don't want that real dark there, but I'm filling that area in. And I'm looking again. I'm thinking it looks pretty good. So I'm going to dry this and then we'll be back. All right, so I've gotten this dry and I'm looking at it, in that place there where I had some white paint dry, you can still see it, so I'm going to have to cover that up. I've taken some outlines of birds that I found on the internet and I printed them out. Now you can hand draw these if you want, but I'm going to look at them. I've already traced them on the back, just the outline, and I'm going to see where I want to put them. So I think I want this little bird up here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and trace him with my pencil, because I think I'm going to have him here. I'm going to have this little bird down here, and then I'm going to have this bird over here somewhere. So let's go ahead and put this one in, and I'm just going to trace him. You want your back color, your background color, to be a color that is light enough that you can see your pencil marks. Now I am tracing the wings. I'm not tracing the eyes. Because I'm going to be doing something with that. I just kind of want to know where they are. And I'm going to put this branch in because I need to know where to come up. Okay, I'm going to look, and it looks like my little bird is on there. Make sure his little wings are on there that I can see them, and they are. So I've got my little bird up there. And then I'm going to put this little bird down here. Use my paint so I don't get it stuck in. That's how that happened, is I got some paint on this, and then when I was moving it, it accidentally touched that and I didn't know it was on there. Okay, so I'm going to put the little bird down here. So I'm just going to draw the outline of him. Trace just the outline. I'm not doing the inside. Now normally I do this on a flat surface. But just so that you can see it better, I'm tracing it upright on the canvas. And here's his little talons. And let's see if we've got him. Pretty much, I'm going to go back over this area here. I think I can tell where he's at. And then this last little bird, I'm going to have him standing maybe right here. Or maybe I'm trying to think how I can cover that up. And I may just make a leaf there. So I may just put him about right here so I can have space for that leaf to come off. So I'm going to put him about right there. Tell I'm not being real neat with my tracing. Okay, let's look and see if the little bird is there. This didn't show up too well. But you can always draw that in if you need to. Okay, so I've got my little birds laid out. So now I need to put in the limbs. So since I've got this bird up here and he or she is already up there, I'm going to be coming down and I'm just going to draw a straight line and I'm just going to pull it down like that. And then this little bird is on a branch that's coming off from here, and it doesn't have to be real neat or anything because we're going to paint over this with paint. And then this little bird is on another one and we're just going to come like right in here. So I've got these three. Now, I'm also going to have some leaves on here. For example, this little bird, I'm going to come right off of here and put a leaf right over that area that I don't want in there. And maybe this little bird, we'll put just a little tiny leaf here. And maybe a little leaf here as it gets thinner out here. A little leaf out here. I'm going to also carry a little leaf right here, bigger one, and maybe one right here, and then one right here at the end of this little bird. We'll see what that's going to look like. Oh, I need one out here on the end. And we'll see what that looks like. I may want to add leaves or not. So now I've got that drawn in, and I'm going to choose paint colors. My background, I could have went a little lighter with my background, but I kind of went mid-tone with it. That way, my birds, I could go with a lighter or a darker. Since I've already got some blue in here, I could do one of the birds a blue. This is kind of a yellow, and then this is kind of a green. So I was thinking about using these colors, and I may go ahead and add some white. For example, if I add some white to this color, I'm going to get something like this. So you can put your paints up here on your background to see how they look, to see if they're going to look like they fit. There's another way to do that is you can go to the color wheel and see which are complementary colors, or there's other colors. You can read about this online, that there's some that are in a group of families, some are opposites. Opposites look good together. Colors that are close to each other on the color wheel look good to each other. If you don't have that, or if you're wondering, sometimes, most of the time I do not do this, but I thought it would be a good idea to show you that this is one way you can look to see if your colors are going to look good, is just place them against your background. So I think I'm going to use these colors, and like I said, I'm going to start out, I think, with the dark colors, and then if I don't like that, I can always lighten them up. So now the question is, where are we going to put the colors? Where am I going to put the blue? Where am I going to put the yellow? And where am I going to put the green? So since I've got mostly blue up here, I could put my blue up here, and I could put my yellow right here next to this yellow. And I could put my green right here next to this green. Or I could switch it up. I could put the green up here. I could put the blue here, and I could put the yellow down here. It just depends at that point just where you want the colors to be. So I'm putting my colors on a plate. So let's see. I'm going to use my small angle brush. This one. And I'm thinking, okay, so do I want to do this way? Have my colors like that? Or maybe I want to do this way. And just see, where do you want your eyes? Probably going to be drawn to the yellow. So I'm going to kind of put my yellow here, I think. I think I'm just going to go with putting the colors in the area that I've already got a similar color in the background. These colors are transparent, so I am going to add just a little bit of white to them. And I'm going to start with the yellow. Now there is another way you could do this if you don't want to have to fight against the background color, because sometimes that can change the color that you're going to put on top of it. You could draw these birds in first and then paint around it. But I found most of the time that if I just add white to it, it's going to cover up good enough for me that I don't need to do that. So let's put this yellow in. And this is not a realistic bird. This is just a very simple outline that's filled in with a solid color. And I'm going to do the legs also in the same color. Put some little feet there. I did get outside the line here, over here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush. And with the clean brush that's still going to get it just a little bit damp, I'm going to come back. Don't want it too damp. And I'm just going to go right next to that and pull that right off of the canvas. And I can do that because my background color is dry. Got some yellow out here. And I'm just going to walk that back. I'm going to let that dry because I'm going to put another coat on it. Okay, so now I'm going to do this little bird down here. And again, I'm going to mix just a little bit of white so I don't have such a transparent color. And I'm just going to fill this little bird in. And I am wearing gloves because I am a messy painter. As you can tell, I've already got a lot of paint on me that I've had to wipe off. Okay, so I'm going to put this little bird He's got tail down here. Get a little bit more paint. So these edges are not real crisp. So I'm going to put some more paint on there. And I'm coming back. Now I did clean my brush in between this color and the yellow that I used up there. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit because I can't get that tail real good. Okay, so I've got that little bird done. And now we're going to go up to the top and do the blue bird. Again, I'm going to let all these colors dry, and while they're drying, I'm going to go ahead and put in my stems. All right, now we're going to do the blue. I'm going to get just a little bit of white to put in with my blue. Oh, that's a pretty blue. Clean my brush. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in this color for my little bird here. I might darken that up just a little bit. Because I'm trying not to get in front of the camera, I'm going to pull this forward to me because I'm a little too far away from it to get this line on really straight. When you're painting, you know, if you feel more comfortable, there's a lot of people I have that like to hold the painting while they're doing it, and you can do that, or you can use it on the easel. I normally, when I'm home by myself painting, I normally, unless I'm doing a really small painting, I leave it on the easel. But because, again, I'm trying not to get in your way, and you may have seen some stuff I have behind my easel, I'm going to go ahead and pull that down. Get a little bit more paint. If it starts getting sticky, where it's not flowing on smooth, get a little bit of water and add to your brush, so it will be smooth. Go on a little smoother. Okay. Gonna need a little bit more water. And that's going to go on a lot smoother. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in there in the middle. And again, I got just a little bit outside the line there. I'm going to clean my brush off real good and kind of rub it through the paper towel. And I'm just going to kind of come back, just go right next to it and smooth that off. You might need to do it a couple of times. But you want to start on the outside and work your way in if you're going to try that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Right now we're going to start on the limbs and the leaves. So for the leaves, I'm thinking I'm going to use this color. You know what? I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use a different color for the leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this limb, and normally I would use a burnt or a raw umber, but I do not have any raw umber here. So I'm going to take some burnt umber and mix just a little bit of black with it. Normally I like to do black branches, but I thought for this one I would just use a really dark brown. So we can start putting that in. And for right now, I'm just kind of putting in where the branch is. I'm not filling it in. I'm just painting it so I can see where the branch is at. And this branch comes out here, but it's not very thick on this side because I've got the leaf there. And then I've got this one down here. And again, this is just me kind of letting me see where it goes. This one will have this one come right out like that. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see where these leaves are, so I've kind of given myself an idea of where they are. Now I'm going to go back and I get a little more water and put in my brush, and I'm going to come back and you'll notice I'm taking my little pinky finger to balance so I can get a nice straight line. I pulled that up so I could get the bottom, and it makes it a little wobbly when I'm trying to press to get this on there. Okay, your branches and limbs are normally thicker as you go in, like this will be thicker out here than it is out there. This will be thinner, and it will get thicker as it goes down. So we're going to take a break while I go ahead and paint the limbs in. Alright, I went ahead and I finished all of my branches, and I put another coat of paint on the bird. Now, on my branches and my little twigs and everything, you'll notice I went back and put a little bit of bumpy stuff here. You don't have to do that. You can have just a smooth. But all I did was I took the tip of this brush and I dipped it in some brown, and I just kind of tapped that on. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready and do our leaves. And for our leaves, I'm going to be using, this is a brand by Hobby Lobby. This is Chrome Oxide Green. They have another green that is called Grass Green that works really well, but I don't have that. So when you're painting at home, if you don't have the colors, just kind of improvise. So I'm going to start by putting this green on the leaves. Now I'm thinking this leaf over here, and this is going to be a dark color. I'm hoping that this was the area where I had the white that was accidentally gotten on my canvas. This is going to be a dark green, and I'm just kind of putting this in as a base color. We will be coming back over it with lighter green. I'm just going to kind of show you, we're just going to kind of fill in the leaf area. So we've got that leaf in. And we're going to go ahead and put this little leaf in. Now I just kind of drew some loose leaves. You can put in a different kind, a different style, different shape. Just kind of put some in there. Let's see, we've got a little bit of a wiggly leaf out here. Maybe this one was not formed correctly. Sometimes you'll find leaves that are not perfect. And these leaves don't have to be perfect as you're putting them on. But you do want to try to cover as much of the background as you can with them. This is our base coat. trying to make them as smooth as you can. They don't have to be completely smooth, but the smoother you have the undercoat, the smoother the top coat will go on. Okay, I'm going to add a little water. My brush is getting dry. There's not near enough paint on this, so I'm going to go back, wet my brush a little bit, and get some more paint. But I've kind of outlined it so I can see where I want to go when I come back with more paint. Now you may put a color on and say, you know, I'm really happy with that color. And if that's the case, then I would just suggest that you leave it. This kind of painting, we're not going in for a realistic look. This is more of a decorative look. So you can certainly do it however you want. This is why I like to use the angle brush. You just get some really nice crisp lines. And I've got one more leaf to put in. I'm going to add a little yellow to it, and I'm going to put it right here. Again, I'm trying not to get in your way. See how when I add just a little bit of a different color, it gives it more dimension. So I think I'm going to go back, add a little yellow to some of these other leaves. And we don't have to put a lot in. I'm just going to kind of maybe outline this one a little bit. Well, maybe put a little bit more. While your paint is still wet is the best time to add it if you're wanting to blend the yellow into your leaf. Let's see, I'll put a little bit here. Making that leaf just a little bit bigger. And since I am, I'm going to have to go back with the dark. It's a pretty small little leaf compared to the others. Maybe it's just a baby leaf coming out. Okay, some yellow down here. Smooth that out. And add some more yellow with my green. I know this looked like I put just straight green on. I had a little bit of green, but mostly yellow with that one. This one I'm mixing more green with it than the yellow. Have that be a little bit different color. Now I'm going to add a little more yellow. And we're going to come up here. I might come in with just some solid green right up here. A little bit more yellow with that green. And we'll come up here to this one. Might just paint this entire leaf that color. Okay, so I'm looking at them and I'm thinking those don't look too bad. Might add some more green here. So now we've got our leaves done, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not putting a lot of detail in them. I did put a little bit more yellow in instead of just the solid green, just to give it a little bit of depth. But I'm not going to put any veining in or anything like that. This is just a decorative piece. I'm going to go ahead and dry this now, and when I come back, I'm just going to talk to you about the different options we have. All right, I've dried my leaves. At this point, we could leave this. You could certainly leave it just the way it is. There is one thing that's bothering me personally. I wish I had come up a little higher with this limb, come up just a little bit like this, and then had my bird filling this space up here a little bit better. But I think basically overall, I think it looks pretty good. I like the brown that we used with the colors that we used and the green, and I think it looks really nice. Now, the one thing that I was thinking that you could do, anybody who knows me knows I like to put a little bit of bling in my paintings, something a little sparkly, a little shiny. You don't have to do it, but again, the Liquitex paint markers, this is a gold, and what you could do is looking at your printout here, your outlines, you could go in and just kind of highlight the area where the wings are. So like here, for example, we just put a little line here. Over here, we could just put a little line here. Here, we've got like the little line here and the little line here. And then we could leave it like that, or we could just go ahead and put a little bit of veining just right in the middle of each one of these leaves. So I'm going to think about that if I want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave this the way it is for right now, and if I end up putting the gold in, I will add that and let you see how that looks. But like, we are really done. I think it looks good. I didn't put a lot of shadows or anything in here. Like I said, I like the placement of these two birds. I just wish I had put this bird up a little bit higher. I just feel like it would have looked a little bit better if it was just about this much taller up in the thing, and so the limb. But I think it looks okay. I think it looks okay. And I hope you've enjoyed this trio of bird painting. It was very simple, and I hope you'll come back and join me another time. All right, I thought about it for about a minute, because I love the gold paint markers, and I've decided I want to go ahead and put it in. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. I did take a picture of it beforehand, and then you'll see this one afterwards. So I'm just going to do a little bit like where this little bird's little wing is. I'm just going to come out and add a little wing like that. And then this little bird, he's got kind of a little straight thing that goes back here. And I'm just going to put his like right that. I'm not putting, you can tell I'm not putting any detail in it. It's just a little something. Now this little bird here, his is a little different because he's got a little wing that kind of goes like that. And again, I'm not going to put all of it in. And then a little bit like that. And then a little one here. I'll just put him some little wings like that. And then I think I'm even going to dress up my leaves just a little bit, putting a little bit in the center of each one. And again, make sure that your painting is completely dry. And now, and that makes me happy. So that's the whole point, is we want to do something that makes you happy. And so that makes me happy. I am now completely done with this painting. Like I said, you can add those. You don't have to add them. But I am saying it's done and I'm happy. Thank you for joining me.